Hello everyone, my name is Stefan. I'm going to present you the work that I've done for a vocabulary app. So, first of all, I'm going to introduce you the main character. The main character is Sonia Müller. She is 24/7 years old. She is from Dresden, but she lives in Munich. She's single. She hasn't got any kids yet. She has a bachelor degree in business administration. Her profession, she's a junior sales manager. She speaks three languages: German, English, and French. And actually, she's learning Spanish, but it's like she's trying to learn Spanish. She's not learning it right now, but she's trying to. And she loves to travel. She loves to take pictures, and she also loves to write. And goals and motivation in life right now, let's say like biggest motivation in life is like she's trying to travel 4 months in South Africa, in South America, not South Africa, South America. So that's why she's saving money to go to South America for 4 months. But one of her other goals is to have a good level of Spanish when she arrives there, because one of the things that she said, she loves traveling the world and discover the world, but in the new cultures, but she also likes to meet incredible people. So if she wants to be able to meet people and to talk with people, she has to improve her Spanish. So she set a goal to herself, and her goal is to learn at least 5 new words per day. And then one of the other things is that once she finished her travel in South America, she will have to find a new job. So that's really one of the another goal in her life. Because unfortunately, after traveling 4 months in South America, the job told her if you're traveling 4 months, we're not able to keep you. So this is the biggest challenge that is facing Sonia. The first one is to remember the words because, like we say, it's easy to learn words, but to remember them, that's the hard part. And this is like from the research that we did, is like everyone says, okay, the problem is like once we learn a word, it's okay, but remembering the word 1 day, 2 day, or 2 or 3 weeks after, it's hard. So from the research, like the thing that they say, like it's like you have to practice the vocabulary. So you need to practice the words that you learn. If you're not able to practice the words that you learn, you're gonna forget them. That's how it is. And then another thing is like to learn in an efficient way, because we know that people tend to learn, but they get a bit like lost in what they're learning. So that's why it's very important to have an efficient way of learning. And the other thing is to learn on the go. So the problem statement is Sonia needs a way to learn more words in Spanish because she needs to have a good level of Spanish before her trip to South America. The hypothesis statement is we believe that by building an app where you can search, save, and store new words for Sonia, we will achieve a goal of learning 5 new words per day. So the problem lives. So what we are solving. The first thing is learn new vocabulary because that's what she needs. She needs to learn new vocabulary to be able to improve her Spanish. The second thing is to look for words definition and save them. I would say this is what she really needs that's different. Like that's what we're gonna bring that's really different from all the apps that are out there actually. Because most of the apps to learn a language, they will always give you a lot of words, and then after this, you can learn them, but after this, you cannot really like have your own words. So, for example, like you hear a word, or maybe, for example, you're thinking of a word, like, for example, you say, oh, yeah, how do we say like bottle? And then you can search for the word, then you save it, and then after this, you can put it in the list and you're able to learn it again. So the other thing also is to keep track and organize the words, because sometimes when you learn a new word, you put it on a piece of paper, or even if you put it on a book, but nothing is organized. So you have all your words, they are everywhere in the book, but you don't know which words goes with what, which category is good, which category. Everything is messed up. So that's why like we need to make something where the person will be able to organize all the words that she's learning. And the other thing is to have a playful way. So like we said like before, it's like the best way to remember the words is by using them. And the best way we think like for someone to use them is to play little games where they will force you to use the words. And by forcing you to use the words and to repeat the words by playing these little games, at the end these words will finally stay in your head. And the last thing is to learn on the go, because we know like she's really busy, Sonia. She's working, she's going to the gym, she's writing also. So she needs like something where she can learn all the time, because let's say, for example, like you put things on the book, maybe you can have it on the go, but sometimes you forget about it. So that's why we think like an app is the perfect thing for it. Now, what we tried to focus on the first prototype was the onboarding, the sign up and login, the home page, the categories, list, create lists, because this is one, like we said, this is the what is gonna make us very different from the other apps. And then the game. One of the games that we did is match words, and finally search words. So this is the first wireframe that I did. This wireframe explains you a little bit about how the process is. Like for example, to setting up a new account, then you have the new home page, and then you can see also you can like create list. And then after this was like really a brief like ideas of everything that was happening in my head, and then I decided to do this like very fast. And then after this, I decided to test my idea. So doing a usable testing. So the first thing, the worth testing four tasks that we think that are like the most important in the app. The first one is to create an account, because you need to create an account to have an account, so we can save everything for you. Like for example, your list, your progress, everything you can save it. So that's why you need to have an account. So that was why it was important to create an account. The first task. The second thing, like we say that this is what we think is really different from our app than other apps, is like to create a new list of words and to be able to add a word to this list. So the testers, they had to create a new list, and then after this they had to add a word in the list. The third task, it was to learn words from a category. So this is a bit like the competition, and like what other people are doing is like, for example, you're sitting in the bus or in the train, and then you want to learn some random words, not like you want to say, oh, what is the name of this. You just go to a category, so you can say like food, you can say like work, clothing, and then you just click on the category, and then you will see the image, and then you'll be able to see also the definition of the word and the translation. So this is one of the other tasks that was really important for us. So that's why we're testing it on the users. And the last one is, like we say, it's playing games. So the user had to play a match words, and then he had to see his result. So we have to say that we learned a lot from this user testing. So this was the prototype that we actually gave to the users. So this is like more complete than the first wireframe that we had. And to do this this test, we used an app called Prot App. In this Prot App, that's where you can put like all these images that I was showing you before, these ones that we put in the app, and then the user was selecting from these different wireframes that we already did. And from this, we have to say that it was a bit hard sometimes for a user, because sometimes the user was blocked in a place. He was like trying to do something, but there was no button to go after and stuff like that. So I have to say that I got a bit embarrassed about this a little bit, because like the user is trying to do something but is not able to do it. But luckily for us, what we did, we tried to improve it. So all the little things that the user were telling us that they were not able to do, or they thought that was a bit weird, we tried to improve it. So the first improvement, we have to say, this is one of the main one, it was the sign up button. Because we did the test, and then the customer is trying to sign up, and then he puts his name, email, and stuff like that, and there's no sign up button. So the user was blocked there, couldn't go further. So that's why we had to put the sign up button. This was one of the first things. The other thing is that we had some feedbacks about when someone sees like the definition of the word and the translation of the words. There were two audio symbols, but the people were asking me, but why are there two audio symbols? Why aren't there only one, and stuff like that? So that's why we decided to put that I decided to put the like the language, so you can see like the language of the the audio. So, and the other improvement that I did is also about the list name. It was like when the users were using the test, they saw right name. They were like confused. They were asking me, what do I have to write there? Do I have to write my name, or what type of button is this? This is weird and stuff like that. I said, no, this is like the name of the list that you have to write. So that happened to three people that was testing. So I said like, this is probably a major issue, because if that only happened to one, I would say, maybe it's not that bad. But since three people did this, I said this is probably a major issue, so that's why I decided to change it. And now we call it list name. So we'll see like on the next text that we're gonna do, we're gonna see if this like the people understand better. And the other thing with the list, like when they were creating the list, is that we forgot to add the save button. So people they will do the list, and then after this they can go further because there's no save button, so they're not able to save the list. They just stuck there. So that's why we add the save button. And then for the other one that you can see is like when the people are inside the list and then they can see the translation. So from English to Spanish in this example. So what happened is that we saw that people, when they arrived to this page, they never went further. So they went there and they see the translation and they were pretty happy about it. So, but actually we implemented like when you click on the word, you will go to another page. You will be able to see like I was showing you before, like the definition, the image, and also, or you can add an image, or and you can also see hear the audio. So since we see like people were never clicking on it, like and all the people that tested it, no one clicked on it. So that's why I said it was maybe a good idea to put like a little button where people can like click on it and then they can say, ah, okay, we can go further. And then we can see like, oh, okay, now we can add an image if you want. We can also do this and do that. So maybe that would be good to have this little button to like to motivate them to instigate them to go further. The other thing that we were gonna change, but we didn't do it yet, is with the plus. Before how it was work how I decided to work is like when you were in the list, then on the bottom side you could click on the plus button, and then once you click on the plus button, you would be able to add a word. So search for the word and add them. But I realized that it would be maybe better to have the home button there, so it can be all the other like all the other page where I always have the home button there. And I would move the plus button to the bottom right corner. So this was like pretty much some of the improvement that I made. I made a lot of other improvement. So the next step, I would say like the next things that I'm gonna do is like, of course, fix a few things. Like I was saying about the plus that is on the bottom corner, that I want to put on the bottom corner and put the home page at the bottom. That one of the things that I would like to fix. But there's also a lot of little things that I think can be better on the wireframe. And then the next step would be to develop new games because for the moment I only have match words. So I would like to like have like maybe 4 or 5 new games before launching. So one of them would be probably like listening. So you listen to a word and you have to write them, then make sentence. So we have maybe there will be a word and then you have to make a sentence with the word, or maybe that we will give you a sentence and then you just have to put the word in the sentence. One of the other things can be also images. So it can be like if it's a list, it's an image that you took. So maybe it's gonna refresh your memory. Say, ah, okay, I took this image, or maybe we will give you challenges. Like for example, like the person will give them a word and we'll tell them like take a picture of this word, and then like it's like little challenges. Maybe it will help the people to remember better the words. And after this, of course, is to do the high fidelity wireframe where people will be able to test again. And then once they test again, we will be able to see what's good, what's not very good. And then we'll also see like how we improve from before. Yeah, because we'll see like, oh, this is all the changes that we made, or they're working very well, or if they're not working very well. And I have to say, like, to finish, is like I was really happy to do this class until now. I have to say, like, all the good things was like being able to learn the different step of design thinking. It was really interesting for me. I realized that's UX design. That's really something that I really want to continue doing. I really enjoy doing the interviews and testing, like the interaction with the people. I really enjoy that, and also doing the wireframe. Like you have to do like this creativity. Like you already have the interviews. You see, oh, the people they want this, they want that, and then you try to build something that you think that the people are gonna like. And also, I have to say, like it was always good to get the feedbacks from other people to improve the wireframes and the application. The cons, I would say, like what was hard for me, it was hard to set up meetings with people for interviews and testing. It's like everyone has their life, so you're trying to contact them, you tell them, can I meet you now? They say, oh no, now I'm not available. Or sometimes they tell you they're available, and then once you go to see them, they tell you, oh, at the end I have something to do, I cannot. So that was a bit the thing that I didn't really like, and I thought it was a bit hard to find these interviews, find time to do these interviews. The other thing was time management, because we have to to submit 3 projects per week. It was a bit hard for me to do all the 3 projects per week. And I think it's probably because also it's the first time I'm doing something from home, studying or working from home. So I think it's maybe I have to try to organize myself a little bit better. And the other thing also, I think it's a bit lack of confidence in myself, because sometimes I was taking much more time to do a project than what they were supposed to take. Like, for example, let's say a project is supposed to take 6 hours, and I was maybe spending 8 hours on it. But it was sometimes because I was spending too much time on like little details, like a little detail that I would spend. Oh, I'm not sure. Do you think I was asking myself, or do I think it's good? Maybe it's not good and stuff like that. I think this was maybe a big problem on my side, and I have to work on it to be a bit more confident, or even say like, oh, okay, I think it's good, and if it's not good, the tutor will tell me that it's not good. And the last thing I would say, it's about the Prot app. I was using it. I was able to use it, but I found like it had like maybe a little bit of bugs, because sometimes you want to link something with another page and it wasn't working, so I had to like close the app and then open the app again, and that happened a few times, and that was a bit annoying, I would say. So I want to thank you very much for listening to my presentation. I wish you a very nice day. Bye.